Thank you. I too had something different to talk about when I came today. But now that I'm here and thinking about it, it's been lifelong. It's regarding health. And for my entire life, I've fluctuated, but I've always been a big guy. And I have a daughter who's 15 months old and a beautiful wife and really a great life. But something about shedding the weight or moving away from it and realizing who I deserve to be.
Well, there is no subject that speaks about this leaving behind of the conditional awareness of life more pointedly than this. In other words, the way you perceive yourself. Most people see themselves mostly through the eyes of others. And most of the others who are seeing you are not really doing that much deliberate work at being in alignment when they see you. And so they're just looking around, comparing this to this, and this to this, and this to this, and this to this. And as we were talking about earlier, most of you are having a sort of rough ride as that one views you and has a response to you, and that one views you and has a response to you. And so without even knowing you were doing it in most cases early on, you tried to evoke the best responses that you could from them. But there were pieces that needed to come into place before you could be consistent. That's why sometimes it feels like it works and sometimes it feels like it's not working. Mm-hmm. So now, in light of everything that we've been talking about here today, and really making an effort to leave everything else that you've ever thought about this behind for a little while, just acknowledge that the desire that you hold is a vivid, more detailed desire than you could even begin to articulate if we spent the next 5 or 6 weeks together talking about that and nothing else. Because your life experience has caused you to identify what you are wanting. So now you just have to find a way to be a vibrational match to what you're wanting. But what we want you to do is to get to the heart of what it is that you want, not the means to it. In other words, and that's exactly what we meant with our friend just now, who really believed or that she needed to have a really good question in order to have the experience that she wanted to have. And we wanted her to understand that all she had to do is want the experience that she wanted to have. Are you following that? And can you see how these two things are fitting together in such a powerful and perfect way? So if you will begin thinking about your body in another way, because there are many things about your body that you are appreciating. There are many things about your body that are easy to appreciate. It's easy to appreciate vitality. Now, stay with us just for a little bit. You're going to really like this. So we talked earlier about being $100,000 in debt and wanting to have $100,000 in the bank. So there's a gap there. And how it's unlikely that you're going to shed those pounds today. You really don't want to. It would be painful. And so there's a difference. It's not likely that that the dollars are going to show up instantaneously, and it's not likely that your body is going to transform itself instantaneously. But it is possible that in this moment that you could shift your vibrational beingness about the way you feel about you right here and now. So, but that would require something that we've been harping on all day here today. And that is unconditional alignment. Unconditional love, unconditional clarity, unconditional alignment, unconditional compassion, unconditional joy, unconditional meaning. I found it because I wanted it, and I practiced the vibration of it, and I'm justifying it not at all by that and that and that and that and that. So think about the things that you know that your body means a lot more to you than its appearance. Your body is the vehicle through which you are observing and having the realization of this life experience. Oh my! It is through this body that you translate vibration. It is through this body that you are having the realization of life. This magnificent body, this magnificent, brilliant, finely tuned, incredible, extraordinary. We cannot find enough adjectives to explain the magnificence of this body. And we just sort of wanted to goose up your appreciation of it, all of you. But now, so just think about your body and think about how it feels to be in your body, and think about some things about being in your body that are important to you. And let's, rather than thinking about appearance just for a moment, which is fine to care about the way you look, we are not trying to guide you away from that at all. We just don't want it to be conditional on what others are thinking about you, which you can't control. But there is an easier way of getting into vibrational sync with the energy of your body than talking about shedding pounds. And that is by thinking about vitality or by thinking about clarity. Well, so we'll be brief and then we'll hear you. So think about your body that is made up of trillions of cells. Cells who are consciousness, who are in direct communication with the source within you. Cells that are communicating back and forth with source, and cells who are communicating with one another. So as you are focused upon vitality rather than weight loss, you introduce much less resistance into the equation, and you allow your cells to communicate with one another in a much more confident way. So what we are suggesting to you is that for the next little while, if you will think in terms of the vitality of your body, period. Let the vitality that you are seeking inspire what you choose to eat. Let the vitality that you are seeking inspire your motion. Let the vitality that you are seeking and finding and seeking and finding and seeking and finding, a desire not going unsatisfied, a desire easy to satisfy. Are you hearing what we're saying? A desire easy to satisfy. So when you're thinking about your body, and you will, when you're thinking about your beingness, and you will, and you're thinking about it in a way that you don't have a whole bunch of trumped up things that you've conditionally put into place that you're using to automatically block the energy every time you think about it, the cells are going to continue to communicate. You're going to continue to feel more vitality, and everything that you desire, just like our friend coming to the chair, will happen faster than we can even begin to explain to you. We're talking about making an end run around conditions that you've been using as your excuse to keep you from getting what you're wanting on every subject in the world.
It's absolutely right.
You heard it, didn't you?
I've always tried to make health about, I'll do it for my family, or do it for my daughter, I'll do it for my wife, and that it's about my own vitality, my own.
And it's current. It's not next week and next month. It's not. It's current. So what can you do currently about your vitality? What can you currently do? What can you currently do?
Be happy.
Do you find ease or trauma? What can you do currently? Do you appreciate your body, or do you condemn it? Do you find fault with it in some way, or do you find some reason to love it for just a moment? You're going to find yourself so in love with your physical beingness that it will be impossible for you in time to find those thoughts that were blocking the communication between the cells. And those who watch will think it is magic. But you will know that it was an easy to find alignment, and that you made an end run around conditional response to your own body.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I saw you last year, and things have really moved since then. One of the things, something that I'm doing to allow the cork to rise is, let me catch my breath, is...
anything and everything I can think of that makes me feel good. Wouldn't that be a great way to live life? Anything I can think of that makes me feel good is the right thing for me to do right now.
And one of the things I'm doing, the Oneness Diksha, and out of that came some work with this woman who's helping me in some energetic ways with the Heart Center. And out of the oneness thing and the Indian kind of philosophies, there's this concept of that we are not the thinker of our thoughts, that the thoughts come into our mind, and then in a way we kind of choose to adopt them or not.
Well, let's talk about it in the context of what we've been talking about. We are not offering words to Esther that she is then repeating to you. We're offering a vibration, a knowing that she is receiving vibrationally and interpreting into the thought, realizing into the thought. So that follows with what you're talking about. In other words, if you accomplish a vibrational attitude or atmosphere and are not hindering it with contradictory thoughts that are setting up resistance and making you not able to receive the signal clearly, then you would be the receiver, the interpreter, the allower of the thought. And maybe it's semantics about how that's actually happening, but that is the process. In other words, the thought is coming to you in response. Let's put it to you this way. The life that you have been living has caused you to ask the questions that the answer is culminating to come to you. And so as you receive the answer, it feels to you like you thought the thought, when actually you summoned the thought through the life experience that you were living. You recognized the thought, you materialized the thought, you actualized the thought, you thought the thought.
Both the good and bad. The wanted and unwanted.
Whatever it is. And it's always coming on the heels of whatever vibration you've got going on. Always, in response to your vibration.
Okay, and where I was further going with this is that they have a process that, say, an unwanted thought and the associated emotion comes in, and it's unwanted. You don't want it. Their strategy is to fully embrace the emotion, and by doing that, it thereby transforms back into love, which is the only thing that there is in the world.
That makes sense.
You either have love or the absence of love.
That makes sense in this sense for sure. That if in the realization of a thought that's uncomfortable, if you tense against it, push against it, justify it, defend it, it's going to get bigger.
It tends to persist,
in the appreciation of the emotion, which is guidance, and the acknowledgement that this guidance is helpful, then you release resistance and...
Well, the knowledge, that's something I'm going to have to write down. Because in the moment, oftentimes, I get consumed by the emotion.
It's sort of like,
the emotion becomes consuming.
When you feel pain in your body. Pain in your body is an indication of resistance. And the knee-jerk response from most humans who are living sort of conditional experiences that we've been talking about today is to tense against the pain or to address the pain, to do something with the pain.
Right.
Where if you can relax into the pain, if you can embrace the pain, if you can accept the pain, if you can acknowledge that the pain means it helps on the way, that your cells are summoning and that the energy is moving and that the pain that exists is because you're not allowing the energy that is coming to be received by you, is sort of that same concept. Relax into the negative emotion. Don't tense against it. Don't beat up on yourself. Oh, my guidance is working and telling me that I'm bad. No, your guidance is working and letting you know that you've got a vibrational frequency that is keeping you from being the receiver of your desire, which is a different frequency.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of times...
It seems so simple to us.
Well, yeah, from where you are... But this little part of me down here, sometimes forgets that I got a larger part up there.
But don't continue to argue for your limitations. In other words, you know everything that we know, because everything that we are, you are. It's just and it's a really nice thing when another way of looking at something leads you to the same end result of understanding. Yeah, it's good. Mm-hmm. That's inspiration.
I guess maybe we've done enough on that. Sometimes hearing things over and over, I get a little different perspective on it. So there's another thing, and it's happened before. The last time when I was up here talking to you, I started talking about something that was beautiful, and it choked me up. And you said that was an indication of something. I forget what your exact words were. And a similar incident happened out there talking with the disabled people, one person in particular. Towards the end of my interaction with her, I had to leave or I was going to just crumble. I was crumbling in the moment, and even thinking about it still kind of brings it up. And you said something to the effect that it was a separation of me from something. I don't recall exactly what that was. And I was wondering what you can offer me to help me with that. Because I know there is a different feeling, different feeling that I could feel in that moment other than, crying feeling.
Rather than talking about the experience or the action, the behavior of the tears, we want to talk about the emotion that you were feeling that is behind them.
Yeah.
And the feeling or the experience of what we would call true compassion is holding someone as your object of attention, having practiced your unconditional love for long enough that you are really practiced in this atmosphere of alignment with Source. So you walk around as an extension of Source all day. And now someone comes into your experience, and as you are acknowledging them, you are not acknowledging the condition that they may be presenting, or the condition maybe even that they are wanting to talk about. You are approaching them from your alignment with Source. And in doing so, you have no resistance whatsoever in your being. And there is a full receiving of who they are. And that's exactly the conversation you just had with us, that you picked up from somewhere, about relaxing into the negative emotion. In other words, because there are two ways of looking at this. Oh, and you're bringing us right to this place that we so want to be. Is negative emotion an indicator that something is wrong, or is negative emotion an indicator to guide you in the direction of something that's right?
Guide me in that direction.
And you see what we're getting at? It's just the way you're perceiving it to be. So as you have practiced your alignment so that you're really tuned into Source, and now you're holding someone as your object of attention, you are seeing the same things that everybody else is seeing, but you're seeing it through the eyes of Source. You are accepting and embracing, and you are not allowing the condition of this person's life to separate you from your true ability to see them.